Welcome to Ryda's Rain Crochet. We are going to be doing this sweet pea sweater from Baby Crochet Designs. I will put the link to the Etsy pattern below. Today we're going to be doing a size 3 to 4 years old. The pattern has 7 more sizes, so 8 different sizes total. If you jump over to Etsy and get the pattern, so you can do it any size you want. It goes, let's see, up to 0 months all the way to 9 to 10 years old. And you guys can do it along with me. Then some of the numbers will be a little different, but at least you have some guidance on that. And we need to make sure that we have a 3 millimeter and a 4 millimeter hook. And we're using a 3-ply yarn. I'm using some Bernat Baby Soft for my design. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and chain 6 with our 3 millimeter hook. Our 3 millimeter hook is going to do our neckline and our cuffs, all the cuffs, sleeve cuffs and the cuffs at the bottom. And then once we're done, we're going to jump from the 3 to the 4 millimeter hook for the body of the sweater. So we're going to start with the chain of 6. In the second chain from the hook here, we're going to do single crochet all the way down with a total of 5 single crochets. Chain 1, turn our work, and now we are going to single crochet in the back loop only. Now our count should stay 5 for the entire ribbing of the sweater neck. Once we get to the end, we are going to chain 1, and we're going to turn our work. Okay, we are going to proceed to do this chain 1, turn our work, single crochet 5, back loop only. So we'll do it one more time, and we're going to do that until you have a total of 74 rows. So chain 1, back loop only. Again, it's going to make, we're going to have 5 single crochets. And we're going to do this till we have a total of 74 rows. All right, I will meet you guys back here. See you in a little bit. I hope everything went well for you guys. You guys have a nice little strip that looks like this. When I do this stuff, I'll stop and mark where, like this one right here was at 40. And then I counted in another 20 and then marked it around 20. This way I don't have to pull out. I know when I'm getting really close because I would only have 14 rows left. So that helps me be able to not pull out and not have to stop and count so many as often. I can count, you know, all of these stitches, this one time, and then this one time, and just keep checking, you know, on this end here. So sorry about this. Okay, what we need to do is get some stitch markers ready. And then what I do, okay, so what I like to do here is chain 1, and we're going to attach this and our ring together, and we're going to go ahead and do a slip stitch. We're going to do the back loop and then the chain, and we'll go ahead and slip stitch this together all the way down, or 5 slip stitches. All right, so I slip stitched all the way down. I'm going to go ahead and turn my work here and straighten that out so it looks so... I am so sorry. My camera got moved and I'm used to one spot. This spot is where I work and it was messing me up. So there's that, almost invisible. All right, so I slip stitched and now I need to get back my 4mm hook. And let's go ahead and get started going around here. So let's go ahead and chain 1. And let's start with 2 half double crochets, same stitch, chain 1 and 2 more half double crochets. And now we need 12 half double crochets. Okay, that's my 11 and 12. So I don't like counting when you guys are counting because I don't want to get you guys to get off track. So I just I'll just try to always not get you at the end. All right, now we're doing our cluster again of 2 half double crochets, chain 1, 2 half double crochets. And then we're going to do 23 stitches. So like I said, remember, pull this back here and see if there's a stitch that you may you might miss. Okay, and then what we're going to do from here is we're going to do 23. Okay, we just did 12 and we're doing 23 half double crochets, Rain. 23 half double crochets. Just try to hit all the spaces in between here. Okay, that's my 20, 21, 22, and 23. And then again, our cluster. Okay, so I'm going to have you guys go ahead and finish off with 12 cluster and then 23, and I'll meet you guys back here. If you guys are over or under just a little bit, don't pull your work out. This pattern is very forgiving, and I like it for that. You do have a lot of counting rows, and I don't really like that, but once we can get past that, then it's pretty much smooth sailing for the rest of the body and the arms. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. And like I said, if it's off a little, I'll talk to you guys when we get here. If you get close and you're off a lot, then go back and you can either pull out your collar, which I wouldn't do if it was me. I would just go back, double check I didn't skip any, or just add some in between and stop here again and then do a count off of what you need, what room you need left. Okay, see you guys at the end. All right, we're back around, and mine by chance is just working out pretty good for having 23 stitches here at the end. But what I do want to show you is if you guys are getting down here and you're short, go ahead and just put one in. Like you could double up right here and put 2 in here. You guys want to get this fixed now so it's easier the rest of the way. It already is difficult enough the rest of the way. But we need to go ahead and have our 23. What's important is because this is what we're building off for the distance between the shoulders. If by chance you guys have too many, then you guys can go ahead and do a half double crochet decrease, and that's where you yarn over, go in, pull out a hook, yarn over, go in, pull out a hook, and then pull through all of them. And then of course an increase would be 2 half double crochets in there. Unless you guys were like 20 off, hopefully you guys can just fix it this way and not be pulling out. This is going to actually happen quite a bit, so that's why I'm just like giving you guys now a little bit of tutorial. Something else you might want to do before we finish this up is go ahead and put stitch markers if you want in these corners. It is kind of a little bit more time consuming to take all of them off as you go around. But until you get the gist of it, I would just say, hey, why don't you just try it, to start, and then if you're like, nope, I got this, then you guys can just keep them out, right? Okay, so I'm going to finish up my 23 here. This was 20. Whoops. And 22, not the gun, and 23. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and slip stitch here to where we had that chain at. Okay, dope, and chain 1. Okay, so now what we're going to end up doing, we're going to do our chain 1. Whoops, no chain 1. I'm so sorry, slip stitch. And then we're going to go ahead and slip stitch over here to this corner. So not the back loop. I think I just grabbed one loop. Okay, so there's something real quick that I want to show you guys. It's going to actually play a big part in what's coming up here next. So whenever you do a stitch, let me just show you here, and I know you guys know this, but maybe it'll just all settle in and make a little bit more sense. This little V, this top that we crochet in right here, when we're crocheting in the round, it is always right behind the post of the stitch. So if this is the post, right there is going to be that that stitch that goes to this one. Okay, so when we come back in here and we're slip stitching, this is our beginning round, right? So this chain or this V right here, that is over this stitch, is actually our chain. This one is actually our chain. This one behind it, down here, is what we created here. And down here is what we created here. So as you can see, with just the last one we did, here's the stitch, but right here, over here is the V. So now, if you're going back and forth, then when you flip it over, you always have to account for the stitch in front when you're crocheting into it, but that's not the case. So up here in just a minute, you're going to see why this is important. So, okay, so then we're going to go ahead and slip stitch to the first double crochet in that cluster. And what we want to do is we want to slip stitch back to this center here. So it really will be 3 slip stitches for me right there, because you should have the 2 double crochets and then getting in a slip stitch. So now that we're in here, what you need to understand is that this stitch here is actually the stitch of this post here, right? Okay, so now that we're in the circle, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and slip stitch over. So what we want to do now is chain 1, and again we're going to do 2 half double crochets, chain 1, 2 half double crochets. Okay, now when we count our stitches down, we did 12 last time, right? And so this time we're going to do 16 because it should be growing because we're increasing. But this stitch right here, the part that we're supposed to go into, is all the way in here, right there, which, by the way, is extremely hard to get with your hook, let alone it's time consuming to even fight with it to begin with. So what we want to do in each round is do our cluster that we've been doing, and we're going to go ahead and just put 1 more half double crochet right here, and we're going to pretend that it's this stitch, that we're going to pretend like we're going into it all the way over here. It's just a waste of time to try to fight it when we can go ahead and just start our count right here and go, okay, here we go, ready? So now we'll do 16, and we're going to count that as 1. Okay, I'm at 14, 15, which is going to be the first double crochet of the cluster. And then my 16 is going to be the second double crochet is the cluster of the cluster, okay? So now, in our space, we're going to again repeat our corner piece. Two double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, or half double crochets. Do as I say, not as I do. All right, I got a knot in my yarn here. Okay, so we're going to do that again. So again, this is going to be a big part, and here's why. These first handful, not handful, a little over a handful, these first 13 rows, you're going to need to count every side that you're going down each time. It is way too easy to get off because you forget this first stitch here. I would rather you guys be counting and make it up, down on this end if you forgot it on this end. Than for you to miss it altogether. I'm telling you, it sucks, but you are going to need to count all of these. I am now on like my 10th one of these sweaters, and I still can't trust that it's going to work out correctly. I would rather count and then have it look like a normal shirt or sweater when I'm completed, than not count and end up it being crooked after all my work. So just count. Just don't trust yourself, just count. So now we're going to go ahead and go down our long side, and we're going to go down this side 27 half double crochets. All right, so here we go. It's going to be 27, another 16, 27. Meet you guys back here. If you get down here and you miss this, you messed it up, don't pull it out, just add an increase, but start paying attention to why you're losing it. Are you losing it because you're missing it on this other end? You know, are you missing, do you keep missing it here? Why are you off? If you're going to be off through all of these rounds that we keep talking about, try to figure it out so then you're not off anymore. Sometimes it takes a couple rounds and you go, oh, I bet I forgot that. So you know where you're getting off so you don't keep getting off. You don't want to have to be messing with it constantly, but you do need to be counting. So I'm going to go ahead and meet you guys back here when you guys are done. Remember, doing 16, 20, whoops, I'm so sorry, 27, wrong line, 27, 16, and 27. And I'll meet you guys back here. Okay, we're back around, guys. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, I think I have a couple stitches left, and this is a big mess. So what we're going to look at is we have put one here is a double crochet that we went around with that matches all of these. So it's going to be the one behind it. So we have a stitch in that right there. And then this one that's next to that was actually our coming up stitch right here. Okay, so we actually have no empty stitches that are down here. Well, we have one, but that's on an angle. So we're going to dismiss this and this one. We're going to get right here. Do you see the last cluster was? And we're going to go ahead and finish off. How many of you guys have left? You can go ahead and make it because this is our beginning. So just make that work in there somewhere where you feel, unless you have too many to fit in there, you can't, of course, keep increasing in the same spot over and over. And let's go ahead and get that finished up. So I think I was at, so I needed 2 more, I think. Okay. It's 26, come here. 27, down here. And then we're going to slip stitch again back over to the corner. So if you get that worked out right, you should have some stitching up here. You should be slip stitching 2 times. 1 time and then 1 more that's in that center. Okay, so now our pattern is going to change a little bit. We were doing 2 half double crochets, chain 1, 2 half double crochets. And actually what we're going to be moving to is 1 half double crochet, chain 1, 1 half double crochet. So I'll chain 1 to get some height in my corner, and I'm going to do 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet. And then I'm going to proceed with my counts. Just keep going and doing my counts. What I'm going to do is I am going to excuse me, pull up a little chart here and put it on the video to break it down a little bit easier than reading the pattern, because they, of course in a pattern they're repeating a whole lot of information, and you don't really need that. What we need is the count for the side of the neck and the front or back. If they match, then they match, and we only need one. We need to see it 1 time. So you guys have already seen that we had 16, and then before that we had 12 here, and then, you know, we had the 20-somethings here. So I'm going to put that chart up, and what that's going to do is just make it much simpler for you guys to read as you go around. I'm going to meet you guys back. So you're going to need to do the single crochet or single half double crochet, chain 1 half double crochet. That's the new cluster. It's just a V-stitch. How about that? That'll help remind you. In the corners now is a half double crochet V-stitch. And then we'll have our standard half double crochet around the edges. And I can meet you guys. I'm going to meet you guys back here at the end of round 12. So the round we're starting right now is round 3. And like I said, I have this little chart. It's just a little bar graph or a little, just a little explanation. It's very simple, not a lot of words. It's just going to be the counts and the rows. So I'm going to meet you here at the end of round 12, and this is going to be much bigger. Okay? Good luck. And again, you just keep counting. After this 12 rows of counting, we don't really have to count into every single time we're crocheting. So just push along with the next 9 rounds, and I'll meet you guys back here. The charts for the rest of the rows for you guys, and then we can meet back on 13. And hopefully you guys can just pause that there, or, you know, screen print and print it and just work off that instead of having to read all of the instructions, at least for this size, and maybe give you an idea if you're doing a different size, just to go ahead and jot them down and you don't accidentally miss something. Okay, so there's that. I'll see you guys in quite a while once you guys get round 12 done. Thanks. See you in a little bit. Okay, here we are. Now we should be on round 13. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create the armholes. So we have our 2 short ends here. And so what we're going to do is go ahead and chain 1. Let me scoot you guys back down. Chain 1, and we're going to do 3 half double crochets in this space. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and grab the next chain space. We're going to fold these and put them together. And like so, and find your V-stitch, and then 3 half double crochets into that V-stitch. Okay, and then we're going to be coming back down. Now we're going to come down this side, the side that our last double crochets are on, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to do 51 half double crochets, and don't forget your one of the V's that you have to do. So remember, we've kind of just been throwing it in there. If you can grab it, I'm glad you guys were. Sometimes I can grab it, sometimes I can't grab it, so all else fails, move forward. So I'm going to meet you back down at this other corner. So I have 51 stitches total. All right, I'm at 51 and I'm at the corner. So we're just going to go ahead and do the exact same thing. So we're going to do half double crochet, chain 1, half double, whoops, I'm lying, don't do that. We're going to do 3 half double crochets. You guys are probably a little more with it together with it. Okay, we're going to skip. Sure, we have our V-stitch with the chain 1 space. And 3 half double crochets, and yes, then we're going to go down the long side with 51 half double crochets, meeting us back in the beginning. I will see you guys there. Okay, we are back. Here we are, and we're going to slip stitch to the first stitch. That would be our first half double crochet. If you're changing colors, now is the time to do that. I am going to make, this is actually the first time I've made a striped one, but it's really nice to change colors when you're working like this in the round, because you don't have to drag your yarn or anything like that. It's going to be, whatever you drop, still going to be sitting here when you come back. So that's pretty neat. Now, remember earlier I said this pattern is really forgiving, and it is. As you guys already noticed, it was so easy to just make up a stitch going around where you weren't having to pull out a lot. This next section is the bottom section of the jacket, and it is the same thing. It is very forgiving. It's very easy to work. So, and we don't have to count no more. Whew! I bet you guys are tired. I am tired of counting too. But that one time you decide not to count, man, there you go. All right, go ahead and chain one. And from now on, this chain one is going to count as a stitch. So make sure that that was my locking chain one. Sorry, here we go. Get in here. So now what we're going to do is we'll do 2 half double crochets in the same stitch. One, two. We're going to skip 2 stitches. 1, 2. And in the next stitch, we're going to do 1 single crochet and 2 half double crochets, all in the same stitch. Again, we're going to skip 2 single crochet and 2 half double crochets. All right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to repeat that all the way around. Treat this arm pit, the under the arm, the same as this. Just look at the stitches and go with the flow. Skip 2 single crochet and 2 half double crochets. Skip 2. All right, I'll meet you guys back in the beginning. All right, so we made it around. So now we're going to do a slip stitch to the chain 1 space here. Oops, I am changing colors. I'm going to alternate my colors back and forth. That, again, is totally up to you guys. But I would strongly suggest that if you guys are going to do that, that you do use a stitch marker in here. It's real easy once you guys get moving around to miss this, and then you're not quite sure exactly where to end off. So I'm going to head and just put my hook through, and I grabbed my transition and I'm pulling it all the way through, and then I'll do my chain 1, and then I'm going to do 2 half double crochets, same as before. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my stitch marker in so that I don't accidentally mess up and actually crochet in the round without stopping. Now, as you can see, our single crochet has a really nice big hole right here to go into. That is what we're going to go into from now on. It's actually going to be like we're still skipping 2, but we don't have to count anymore because we've got these really nice single crochets. So now we're going to go ahead and single crochet and 2 half double crochets in each one of these stitches. We're going to alternate this pattern, or I'm going to alternate the colors. You guys are going to keep doing the same pattern, same exact pattern, all the way until your product measures like 13 inches, around 13 inches. And we are actually going to be measuring from up here, down, from this top of this shoulder. So don't just measure from where we started this. This is included. Okay, well, before I put you guys out on your own doing your 13 inches down, I found something out. This is the first time that I've done this sweater, not in this really, I've been using this kind of fuzzy yarn, and you cannot see the seam. So I'm going to have you guys do something a little different than what the pattern says. As you can see, here is where you can see this line right here. This is literally going to go all the way down the back of this sweater, and that's where we are attaching it together. We're slip stitching and doing that chain 1. So what I'm going to have, if you guys can look here now, there's no line. You cannot see where the row began and where the row ended at. So I'm going to have you guys do this a little different. And I'm actually really happy that I was able to do this for you guys, so you guys weren't sad. So As you guys know, I'm alternating. So what I did was I went ahead, and once I came to my last stitch in that row, I'm going to slip stitch over to this next hole. That would be like your second cluster, because right here would be our first cluster, but that's what's creating our line. So we don't want that. So I'm going to go ahead and just slip stitch over. So that was the chain space, or the single crochet. I am now single crocheting. We're not using that chain. So what we do is we slip stitch over here. I'm going to change colors. If you're not changing colors, then you're going to be doing the same thing. So slip stitch. I went ahead and chained one, and then I did a single crochet, and then my 2 half double crochets. And then I proceed all the way around again. And then when I come back, I'm going to slip stitch over 4 to get back into this hole right here. And what that does is that makes your connection keep moving, where you're connecting the rounds together keeps moving, so there's no apparent, you can't see where it's at all. It looks really sharp. So now I'm going to leave you guys to finish up. I've got my 13 inches from my shoulder, from up here, we're measuring down 13 inches. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to do the cuff. Make sure that you guys have your 3mm hook ready when you guys meet me back here. And then we're going to go ahead and do the, I guess you would call it the bottom of the sweater, the elasticy part of the bottom of the sweater. And we're going to do that the same way that we did the collar. So I will meet you guys back here in a couple hours or so when you guys are ready to move on. Okay, so we are all together now at the end of our shirt. Should measure 13 inches from the shoulder. I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch here. But I'm going to bring my blue through, my solid blue. This one is like it's got a little bit of blue in the white. It looks, I think it looks really cute with this. And tighten this up. Now we're going to chain 6. So that's our locking. So let's go ahead and get 6 in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoops. Don't do what I just did. Haha. Okay, now let's go to our 3mm hook. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to single crochet, second chain from the hook, of course. And we're going to single crochet down the chain 5 times. Now this is where it just gets, how we're going to connect it. It gets a little tricky. And then I'll let you guys go ahead and do your ribbing all on your own. So we make sure that we have 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's one little extra one there, but I wanted to go ahead and lock it. Now what you're going to do is you're going to slip stitch 2 stitches. And what this does is this brings this over, and then we can turn our work, and then we're going to go right back up. I don't know why this color is just really bright. And then we're going to go ahead and come back up. Now what's nice is because it's only at 5 single crochets, it's a very easy to look back down, but you do want to keep an eye on this because sometimes you'll have a tendency to grab the slip stitch here, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to grab one of these two, so you don't want to go too far down. You want to make sure that you're hitting that 5th single crochet. And we're going to do back loop onlys all the way till the very end here. This last stitch, you are more than welcome to just do back loop only once you get to the end of this. But there is not a trim or anything that goes on the bottom of this ribbing. So I end up going through both stitches. One, it's easier to do. It's just easier to stab it in here and go through both of those loops than it is to try to get the back loop on that very last stitch. And it looks better. I think it looks better when it doesn't have just that single stitch. We'll chain one and we're going to turn. This is going to be a lot of flopping. Turning, turning, turning. Back loop only. We'll go back down. I will do one more with you guys here. And then I will leave you guys to go ahead and get your ribbing done on your own. Like I said, you're more than welcome to go ahead and do back loop only at the very edge down here if you'd like. I don't like it. I think it looks cleaner when I go through both loops. Okay, now again, if you guys have, this is really nice because I did my last row in the white speckled yarn, and I'm doing the ribbing in blue, so I can really very easily see where I need to go to make sure that I'm not slip stitching into the same one I've already worked in. It isn't a big deal if it happens. Don't stress out by no means. And then turn our work. We're not chaining or anything. We're just slip stitching. And then we're chaining, or we're turning the work. And then we're going to go ahead and go back up. And you guys are going to do this all the way around. And then I'll meet you guys back here for us to go ahead and connect it. I am apologizing about this lighting. I don't know why it is seeming so darn bright today. But anyway, hopefully you guys got the gist of that. And we'll see you guys here in a while once you get the ribbing done all the way around. Okay, we made it around the ribbing, and I had one space left, so I went ahead and did a slip stitch in that, and I chained one, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn my work inside out, and then what I'm going to do is go ahead and do the back loop of the last stitch, and then the chain stitch, and we're going to go ahead and connect these with a slip stitch. And as soon as we're done with this, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get our sleeves working. So we're going to get back to our 4mm hook. And the last stitch, I always go through both. So we have a nice, good connection here. Go ahead and get that pulled nice. And here's our ribbing all done. We're looking good, guys, looking good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and attach our yarn to, I always like to start here at the bottom. That way when I go around, depending on my stitches, I can make them up underneath in this armpit area here. So what we're going to do is go ahead and attach our yarn. And what we want to do is we want to do chain one once we attach it, and do 44 half double crochets around, which with that chain one space is going to total 45. So basically we want 45 stitches around on the arm parts of this sleeve. And I'm going to go ahead and go straight to blue so I have a nice distinction. Remember, back to the 4mm hook. Okay. And then I'm going to do 44, total of 45 half double crochets around, and I'll meet you guys back here at the end of that. And then actually we're going to start this pattern again here, this cluster pattern, once we get back around. So I'll just let you guys do that, and I'll meet you guys back here with a total of 45 half double crochets. Okay, so I've got my 45 stitches here, worked out perfect. We always like when that happens. And then I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch. I'm going to bring in my other color because I think I'm going to go ahead and do my pattern down the sleeves as well. So I'm going to slip stitch and bring this in. And then we're going to do, just like we did the body of the shirt, I'm going to chain one, and I'm going to go ahead and single crochet back in here because we're going to start that pattern where we are slip stitching over so that we don't see that line going down the sleeves. as well. So we go single crochet and 2 half double crochets. We're going to skip 2, do a single crochet, 2 half double crochets, skip 2, single crochet, 2 half double crochets, and we're going to go ahead and repeat this all the way around, and I'll meet you guys back here just to go over to how to slip stitch back over. We will end up slip stitching back over to this hole here to make our next cluster on top there. Okay, I'm back around. I'm on my last cluster here. So I got my single crochet and my 2 half double crochets, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to slip stitch over my 3 stitches that I have. 1, 2, 3 stitches, and then I'm going to slip stitch to the single crochet, which is our big hole we have right here. And this is where I'm going to bring my other color back out. And I'll slip stitch there. Let me get this out of the way. And then I'm going to chain 1, single crochet, 2 half double crochets. And now it's the easy part. So what we want to do is we're going to go ahead and repeat this round of clusters until our sleeve measures about 14 and a half inches. And we're actually going to measure that from all the way up here. And this is how we're going to measure down. So you are going to account for all of this. Here's the collar. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and take that all the way down. And then we're going to do the ribbing on the sleeve. What I'll do is I'll meet you guys back here once you guys have 14 and a half inches. And we will do some reducing. And then we'll make our cuff, our sleeve cuff. But let's go ahead and get on that and get working from there. And then I'll jump back in when we're ready to do the cuff. Good luck, guys. Okay, we have made it all the way around. Make sure that you count your rows so both of your arms are exactly the same length. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to slip stitch to our first stitch. We're going to do a row of reducing. I decided to go all blue on my sleeves if you guys are wondering what has changed. Chain 1. We're going to single crochet in the same space. We're at our 3 millimeter hook, and then we're going to single crochet 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so from here we're going to do 2 single crochet decrease all the way the rest of the way around. So we'll do 1, 2, and decrease. So just go in, pull up, go in, pull up, and reduce. 1, 2, reduce. And I will meet you guys at the end of that. Okay, so then I slip stitch. I'm changing colors for my cuff, so I went ahead when I slip stitch, brought my new color in. And now okay, so we're going to do the same thing we did the rest of the cuffs. Remember, 3 millimeter hook. We're going to chain 6, come back loop only, and we're going to do that all the way around on both of course, both of the sleeves. And that makes a nice little cuff. There we go. Good job, guys. All right, well, we finished up our sweet pea sweater. I hope you guys enjoyed doing it. And here's the other one I did that I kind of used as an example. I really like using this fuzzy stuff, and as you can tell, you can't see where we were having that line that was coming up when you're using this fuzzy stuff like this. And it transitions, so that kind of camouflages it as well. So thank you guys so much for joining me. And like always, please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, see you soon.